Well, I come from a musical family, and I'm one of six kids. My father was the church choir director. He's still living, but he's not directing the choir anymore. But he still sings, very active in church. My mom as well sang solos, and so having the two of them in my life, oh well, being a product of them, it was one of those things that I was always surrounded by music and being in the church and being active and picking up instruments as a young kid and singing with my family. My mom said I would sing in my sleep, as a kid, and so I guess music was something that was in me. But I was shy about singing in the beginning. Later on, in high school, I think I became more bold about singing because people told me that the girls would think I was cute, if I sang, and I got a little bit more bold. And I just fell in love with music. To perform, performing. I was in a show choir where we sang and danced and did all kinds of things. So I just have a very a mixed bag of musical influences, having been through gospel and then in high school being in madrigals and show choir, and I used to play the bass guitar in a rock band and used to sing in a pop group and a number of different things. And so always singing. Someone told me when I was 18 years old that they heard something in my voice that was specifically suited for classical music. So I thought, at that time, I thought classical music, what? And I remember singing something at a program as a senior in high school. And after that program, there was a gentleman who approached my father and he said, "Kid, you have something really, really special. I don't know if you know it, but you must pursue this because you have a gift that you should share with the world." And so I was like, okay. And I guess that was the beginning of my musical voyage and my journey where I said, okay, I'm going to try to do this as a profession. Well, back in that time, and I've been in the business now close to 20 years, there were far fewer singers of color that were successful at a high level. Of course, someone who's become a great friend and mentor of mine, George Shirley. He was the first to do many things. But you had people like Roland Hayes, later on Vincent Cole. So there were some people that I could kind of, aspire to try to be like them. But nowadays, I'm very happy to say that there are a lot more. A lot of people that are doing some incredible things, regardless of their color. They just happen to be people of color. We all, I wouldn't be honest if I would say, if I were to say that I didn't have some difficulties in my life with that. But thankfully, the doors that I knocked on, some people believed in my talent enough that they said, regardless of the fact that some people may see you as unhireable, you are hireable. Hireable just based on what you present, what you offer. And so, I've tried to live, going after those things in a positive way and knowing that those opportunities are out there for me. And so I'm happy that I've accomplished a lot more than a lot of people thought I would. So I'm happy about that. Cycles of My Being was a project for me that I felt really that I needed to do. Of course, obviously, I'm an African American man in this society. And when I was talking to a good friend of mine, Jason Moran, a few years ago, we talked about using art as a platform. And it was one of those things, every day it seemed that you were turning on the TV or pulling something up on the internet that talked about uh, aggressive activity towards people of color. Uh, Perhaps some police officers being a little bit overzealous, things escalating to a point that someone's life was lost. And so this was a very common thing happening almost every day, as I said before. And I look at those people and I am just like them. I'm someone's son, I'm someone's brother, someone's father. And for me, it was just like I wanted to be able to talk about what it is to be a black man in this society. I know every day that I wake up and the man that's looking back in the mirror is someone who lives this reality that I'm going to be judged based on what I look like. Um, if someone has blonde hair and blue eyes, they don't have the same concerns that I will have. Even a simple traffic stop could escalate to a certain point just because of the way I'm treated or not treated fairly. And so, talking about these subjects, talking about these matters, things that matter to us, was important for me. In Cycles of My Being, we talk about love, we talk about hate, we talk about God, we talk about being resilient, so many things, because I think it's important that those are things that, like everyone else, I want to be a father that is provides a future for my kids and educates them and teaches them about life and art and fun and travel. And we're all the same, but being in this shell, this human shell, sometimes comes with some difficulty. So I contacted Tyshawn Sorey and Terrence Hayes. My team and I, we talked about wanting to do this, and we figured we wanted to do it with two other African American gentlemen who had shared experiences, but their own as well, to kind of like really capture what it is. And even when you talk about the words that were used by Terrence Hayes, and also collaborated on some of the writing, the lyrics, but even the composition element of it with Tyshawn. Some of the melodies, some of the chord structures are very, very difficult to listen to, but that's by design, because it's supposed to provide tension. It's supposed to be difficult. The material is not always easy to accept, but it's true, and we wanted to do that. I don't think, we have to be true to the integrity of what it is we want to say, but we also have to be cognizant of the fact that people need to accept it. So, Cycles of My Being, it is very special to me. It's very important, and it is a message that I hope to share with many people. And thankfully, I've gotten a chance to do it already, and I've presented it in the most conservative, probably 100% Caucasian voting district in the United States, which is Provo, Utah, on the campus of BYU, and arguably one of the most diverse cities in the world, New York City. So having taken it to both those places and everything else in between, well, several cities in between, I think it's been, the response thus far has been really, really positive.
Boxes of cargo, black boxes in holes. Hysteria, hysteria. jacks and nightmares. Love the air.